everybody, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. We're in 2025 now. Since it is the new year, I wanted to discuss what my small business wins and losses were for 2024. 2024 was kind of a year of ups and downs for me, both personally and business-wise. When reflecting, I felt like I didn't really accomplish everything that I set out to do. On my goals list from 2024, I was only able to check off one thing, and that was a little bit disappointing. And I tend to focus on the negative a lot in my day-to-day life. So I really wanted to make this video to remind myself of the wins and that there were definitely some positives that came out of 2024. We should also put in some losses. And when I say losses, it sounds kind of harsh. And basically what I mean by loss, it's just basically things that I didn't accomplish in 2024. But that means that, you know, I could accomplish them in 2025, or it's things that I think that I could do better in 2025. Also, before we get started and talk about, you know, the wins and losses, I hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. What the hell? Literally, what the heck? I posted my Renegade market vlog and I was at like 390 subscribers before I posted that video. So the fact that I made over 100 subscribers basically off of that one video is a little bit insane to me. I'm just really happy and thankful if you have joined the channel and wanna hear me talk about my business, see my day-to-day life, you know, all of that stuff. Like, me sitting here thinking that I'm talking to 500 people it gives me a little bit of stage fright. So anyway, I was able to come up with 5 of each, wins and losses. So we'll start off with losses and then we will end on a high with the wins of 2024, just so we end on a positive note. You know what I'm saying? You now join me in my bedroom, aka my smart art studio, and we are going to start talking about my small business losses of 2024. Number 1, too many markets, not enough payoff. In 2024, I used it very much as a trial and error period for what markets would work for me and what wouldn't. So I tabled at 13 markets last year. Within those 13 markets, I spent $4,800 on table fees. At every market that you go to, there is going to be some sort of tabling fee. I would say on average, I spend maybe $300 per market, but then obviously, you know, there are markets like Renegade that are $750. $4,800 is a lot of money, and I feel like when I calculated that up for this video, I went, ooh, yeah, that's a lot of money. And then when I looked at the stats, 2 of the markets were losses, which meant that I did not hit that table fee at all. And then 4 of the markets weren't necessarily losses in the sense that I did make table fee back, but I made like under $100 in profit, meaning that I didn't really make profit. Because if you think about the labor that I put into making the product, to being at the market, to maybe buying food for the market, to nourish myself, Ubers there and back, like all of that stuff, it means, you know, I basically didn't make anything except table fee. Basically, 6 of the 13 markets were kind of a bust for me. And that is kind of a tough pill to swallow. It definitely, you know, you want to have a successful market every single time. There are people of the mindset that no market is a loss because you're still getting your name out there, even if it's a slow market. If 5 people pick up your business card, that's 5 people that could order from you at a later date. But I feel like for the amount of time and effort that goes into a market, if I can be a bit more picky and choosy this year, I will be, because I don't want to spend $4,800 on markets just to basically only make that back. Granted, you know, I had some really great markets this year and we'll talk about that in the win section, but overall, it just made me realize that I need to be a bit more proactive about what markets I am choosing and what will make the most financial sense and actually help grow my business. The second loss of 2024 was definitely the amount of money that I spent on ink. My business is very focused on greeting cards, art prints, all of that, and I don't outsource any of it. I print it all at home. Even when it comes to my business cards and my thank you cards, I print those all by myself, and I love doing that. I think I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I can't really seem to let that part of my business go, so I do it all myself. That does mean that one of my biggest supply costs this past year was ink. Looked at how many times I had ordered it, and it was 40 times. I ordered ink 40 times. So that's almost, you know, we have 52 weeks of the year. So 40 of those weeks I was buying ink cartridges, which is a little bit crazy. That means I definitely spent at least $1,000 on ink. I do think that there are ways that I could maybe combat that, but that was something that when I looked at like the stats and reflected on the year was something that I think that I need to improve on going forward. So that was the second loss. My third loss of 2024 would be that I had barely any online sales for my Shopify website. I opened my Shopify website last year and I was very excited about it. I got to customize it, you know, it felt more personal to me than my, you know, Etsy shop or my Fair website, but I hardly made any sales on my Shopify site. I think I maybe had like 3 sales on there. I will say that I don't think that I marketed or advertised this website well enough, and that could be, you know, the number one reason as to why I didn't drive any traffic onto my website. But I also think that Etsy has been such a big part of my business. That's where I started, and that's where I have over 3,000 orders, and I have a bunch of 5-star reviews on there. So I've built a presence on Etsy so people find me relatively easy on there, whereas my Shopify website, like, because I don't have as much of a digital footprint when it comes to my following, I find it a little bit difficult to drive traffic to that website. So now that means that I need to figure out in 2025 how I'm going to strategize pushing traffic to my website rather than my Etsy shop, which is gonna be a bit of an undertaking. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna do that. So if you have any advice, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to know what you do to drive traffic to a website. The fourth loss of 2024 was my lack of confidence. You know, I feel like I've always been unsure of like how much I should order of all of my supplies. And then I have to remind myself that, like, at least for the foreseeable future, always gonna be printing greeting cards. So that means I always need card stock, and that I always need envelopes. I always need cello bags. For some reason in my brain, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't order like 2,000 pieces of cardstock or more. That's a lot of stuff. Granted, I don't have as much space in my apartment as I would like to have to house all of that stock, so I do need to be mindful of space. But there have been countless times during the year where I definitely did not order as much as I should have, just because I lacked the confidence in the fact that I was actually going to sell these products and that people wanted to buy them from me. So I think in 2025, I definitely need to be a bit more mindful of my supply ordering and have more confidence in the fact that my products are selling. People do want them, and you know, when you order a lot of supplies in bulk, sometimes you get discounts. So at the end of the day, I would probably be saving a little bit more money as well. And the last loss of 2024, which kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, but I definitely lacked motivation. I had so many good intentions for 2024. My vision board had a little picture that said, "It's your year." And I was so confident going into 2024. And I feel like that confidence kept going down as the year went by. And I definitely, just didn't have any motivation to do anything. I think personally, I've been struggling mentally a lot. And so I think that definitely had something to do with the lack of motivation to do anything for my business. But I think I also just didn't set the right intentions. I think I put so much pressure on myself to constantly be making content, to constantly be making new products, to constantly try a different product, to do all of these different markets, all of that stuff, where I think that kind of burnt me out mentally, and then also obviously made me lack motivation to actually do any of the things that I set out to do. This year I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed. I still have a lot of things that I want to accomplish, but I think I need to be less hard on myself. Try to find a way to regain some motivation. I think the start of the year is a good one to give me back some motivation, but also to be just a little bit kinder to myself if I'm having a week where I don't feel motivated to make 10 new products or like something ridiculous, that's okay. Those are my 5 losses of 2025. I want to turn all of these 5 losses and turn them into positives for the year going forward. They're just things that I've learned from now, how I can be better moving forward. All right, now we're going to talk about my wins for 2024. Number 1, I had 26 wholesale orders. Now, this was the one thing that I could check off of my goals list last year, and that was that I wanted to hit 13 wholesale orders for the whole year, and so I doubled that pretty much. I had a 50% increase of wholesale orders in 2024 compared to 2023. That was a huge win. I think in the moment during the year when you have a month that you don't have a wholesale order, or a wholesale order that comes in and was like 20 cards, it felt, slow. But when I looked back at the stats, I sold over 1,800 cards to actual real live stores. Like, there is a store right now within the US that is selling my cards. Somebody could be in there right now being like, oh my god, what a cute card, let me buy that for my best friend's birthday. Since starting my business, I've always wanted to see my cards up on a wall for people to buy, to discover, to laugh at, to make them smile. It just is such a big win for me that I was able to sell almost 2,000 cards to different boutiques around the US. A 50% increase. That's crazy. Math doesn't really math in my brain a lot of the times. I'm a creative. But 50%, that's half, you know? Like, that's a lot. That was definitely my biggest win of 2024. Number 2 is that I created some of my bestsellers in 2024. I don't know, there were times where I definitely lacked motivation, and the moments where I kind of, you know, was just drawing for fun, or I was out with friends and she ordered a martini and I was like, that could be a cute birthday card. And I saw a cake that said a teeny bit older. I was like, that would be a really cute birthday card. You know, moments where I was just like out living my life ended up actually helping my business because I ended up making products that were bestsellers. That #1 bestseller was my teeny bit older birthday card. People love that card. I personally don't drink, so it's not something that I would personally buy, but I do know that the girlies love martinis, and as they should. Like, it's a cutie drink, and I love olives. I get it. I get the vibe. So that has been a bestseller, and obviously that means that I made a lot of sales from it, which is good for business. Number 3 was definitely the Renegade Holiday Craft Fair. I've done a lot of markets, and I mean, I did 13 last year. I did Renegade in the spring and in the summer as well, and the spring one was a complete loss. I did not make table fee back that time. And then in the summertime, I think I made like a little bit more than table. It was okay. I did a shared booth, which means I didn't spend as much money, so it was easier for me to make the money back, but so expensive. And I was like, do I want to do Renegade again? Like, so much money, it's kind of a gamble. And then everybody is always like, Renegade Holiday is that girl. Like, she is the one to do. Boy, were they right, because that was the craziest, most amazing market that I have ever attended. It was so packed. It was so busy. I mean, if you want to see that whole weekend unfold, you can go watch my previous video. It was really amazing. You know, I made the most money that I've ever made at a market. I sold the most amount of products that I've ever sold at a market, and it was very fulfilling. It was truly the best way to end the year, honestly, on such a high. It kind of rejuvenated me a little bit and made me be like, you know what, people actually do like my products. People do want to buy from me, and I am making something unique and special, and it was very fulfilling. Definitely a big win of 2024. My 4th win of 2024 was that I actually figured out how to use my printer properly. I've had this printer for over a year now. When I started printing art prints, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a special kind of cardstock, which means there definitely has to be a different setting on my printer. I never thought about the fact that I also print my greeting cards on cardstock, which means that probably needs a special setting as well. Something went off in my brain before Renegade Craft Fair, the holiday one that I was just talking about, and I was like, let me try this setting out for my greeting cards. Guys, it changed the game for me. It's gonna make printing cards, I don't have words. This is why I think my loss when it comes to ink could actually be turned into less of a loss in 2025, because the amount of cards that I printed last year with lines on them, or like it misprinted, whatever, ones that I couldn't sell, right? The amount of them that I printed like that was a lot. Like, I definitely wasted cardstock, ink, my time, and now that I found this new setting on my printer, which is basically just changing the type of paper that I'm using, so it's a very simple fix, it means that, you know, I'm able to have less misprints, which means that I'm not reprinting a bunch, but it also means that I get to step away from my printer because I don't have to keep watching for said misprints. I don't know how I did not figure that out for the longest time. So that was a huge win for me personally. Like, that didn't really impact necessarily like sales or anything, but for my own sanity, that was a big one for sure. And the last win of 2025 was that I created a small business community. I made some, you know, actual real friends from tabling at markets and from following people on Instagram, and it's been really nice. I think when I did my first market, I felt so like a fish out of water, and everybody knew what they were doing. Everyone was setting up so quickly. They had all the supplies. You know, it was very daunting. And a lot of the times I do set up markets by myself, and you know, when I would look around, people would have like a friend, or they would have their boyfriend most of the time. And I've definitely had help with setting up markets. That's always been lovely, but I think when it came to some of those first ones that I did by myself, it felt really scary and anxiety inducing. And so the fact that I really pushed myself to introduce myself to the people that tabled around me and to keep those connections going, I think was one of the biggest wins of 2024. Shout out to Roly Poly Studios. They are a sister duo who makes beautiful ceramics. I have a bunch in my room right now. They have become friends, and I'm excited to continue to foster and grow that relationship as 2025 unfolds and also make new ones. But yeah, I think creating a small business community for myself has really helped me feel not alone in the fact that I am trying to sell my art and they're going through the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing, and it's been really beautiful. So those are my wins and losses of 2024, and I am honestly pretty excited for 2025 when it comes to my business. I feel like I definitely lacked confidence and motivation in 2024, and I just feel like because I ended on such a high with Renegade and also my Renegade video getting me to 500 subscribers on YouTube, I just feel excited and validated in so many ways. Today I actually did do my vision board for 2025 as well. Let me go grab that. Here is my 2025 vision board. I'm very excited. I haven't created a vision board like this, like in a notebook where I printed things and cut them out and stuck them in. I've done it before on my iPad like I did last year, but this felt a little bit more therapeutic. I also did it with a friend, so that was really nice for us to talk about our goals and what we want our 2025 to look like. Hope that I can keep this excitement and motivation going. I hope you guys had a really nice start to the new year. You know, I also think that it's really important for us to kind of just be kind to ourselves and not take life too seriously. At the end of the day, I'm trying to also have that mindset because it can get a little bit dark up here. So that's just my reminder to you to like be kind to yourself, take it day by day, make a vision board. It really did help me to put things out onto paper and to let myself dream of what could come. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am going to try to make more small business content this year on YouTube, be a little bit more consistent with my uploads. So if you want to hit that subscribe button or like, comment, I would really appreciate it. It would help me grow, do what I love. I will see you on the next one. Bye!